Club Soda podcast. I am your host, founder, CEO of Club Soda, Jennique Mason. Club Soda is the only real dating app for people who don't drink and everyone that wants to date us. We are live in the App Store. We're invite only in LA. And today our guest is Victoria. Hi, Victoria. Welcome to the pod.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Victoria is one of my absolutely favorite people. I had the great privilege of going to Paris with her.
Yes, we did.
In October for my 40th birthday. And we were there for 2 weeks, which was probably about 10 days longer than Victoria would do it again. But we had a great time, and maybe we'll insert a few little photos from our trip so you can see how cute we were.
Yes.
In Paris.
Mm-hmm.
And Victoria really rocked her beret.
I love a beret.
It was very, very cute on you. I feel like few people can pull that off in a way where it's really like cute and fashionable.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So you did that.
Yes.
Yes.
We love Paris.
Yes.
Just not for 12 days. Paris is like a 5-day max, I think.
Victoria believes it's a 5-day max.
Yes.
I could live there permanently, which depending
True.
on what goes on in today's political climate, who knows? I could relocate there.
Tomorrow.
Because as I've said before, the French know how to live.
They do. People say the French are like rude. They were so polite and kind and
This is
nice.
literally-
They took care of us.
I just said this last week, but it could not be more true.
Mhm.
They were so kind,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Directions.
Mhm.
It's okay if you don't speak French, but if you just try,
Mhm.
that means so much to them. So, yeah, but Victoria is one of these amazing, beautiful women
Thank you.
that if I wasn't sober, I would have never met you. And then to think that we would like go on this magical international trip to France for several weeks. And we just had a fantastic time. You know, we didn't drink or anything like that. And like, those are the kinds of things that I get to do with amazing, beautiful people like you because I don't drink,
Right.
you know, which is amazing.
And I think there was like 3 people in France that I have memories with. We don't quite know how, but we have spent time together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was wild.
Oh, memories like on your phone?
No, memories like we probably did drugs together at some point in our drinking and using and then ran into each other in Paris.
Okay.
At the meetings.
Oh, I missed that on our. I don't think I put that together.
You didn't?
When we were there.
Yeah.
I don't know, or maybe you said, and
we were
already
trying
forgot.
to figure it out and we just couldn't, and we just agreed.
Oh, you couldn't place them.
We couldn't place it.
Okay, but you recognize them.
We both recognized, all 3 of the people recognized me and I recognized them.
Now they were fellow travelers from
They used
the
to live
US?
in LA.
Okay,
Yes.
and these were people that had relocated there, or they were traveling.
Correct. No, they relocated there.
Okay, got it. Okay, all right.
Well, whatever. Let's move on.
Yeah. Okay. So next subject. Victoria, would you like to talk about your clothing line at all?
My clothing line,
It's
yes.
called Sober Today.
Sober Today clothing.
It's really cute. We
So
will
cute.
show some of the pieces, the logo here. The logo's adorable.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is a flat line into a heartbeat because when
really
we
cute.
get in here, we're like dead to the world and then
We're being revived.
being revived through sobriety. So yeah, that was my little brand mark there.
No, it's great. And you'll see like with the clothes, like it's very like clean and simple. And like, unless you knew what it was, which I think is kind of part of the like appeal of it, it just looks like a cool brand, but then you know what it means and it makes it that much more special. So how long have you been working on that?
I've been working on it basically since I got sober. I got the idea while I was in rehab. And then slowly but surely it's like the pandemic happened and I like got a Cricut machine and wanted to see what it looked like cut out and like as an actual piece of artwork. And then I got like the heat press and I pressed it onto some clothes.
Okay, I'm not in the know with this. What
Okay.
is a Cricut machine?
A Cricut machine is like a DIY crafting hobby thing.
Oh, what does it do?
Yeah. It cuts out vinyl.
Oh,
Vinyl or
so you cut it out
cardboard. Yes.
one piece at a time yourself.
Yes.
Okay, so you did that.
I did that. Yeah. to make like the prototypes. And then I got a company to do it for me. Once I placed it and saw exactly where I wanted it positioned, how big, how far away from the like neck, you know, and then the little brand mark is like in different places. So I wanted to see it myself before I went and f***ed around with like, oh, let's see if this works, or oh, let's see if that works.
Okay, and I like that's amazing. First of all, let's just pause for that. Okay, but I'm not surprised because you also are a quilter.
I am a quilter,
which is so cool.
Yes.
Yeah, and you told me a little bit about this before, but how long have you been quilting?
So I've been quilting since I was 12.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I'm a lazy quilter though. Like I don't do.
What is that? What's a lazy quilter?
Like Joanne Fabrics asked me if I wanted to join a club called Quilters
cute.
Who Hate Quilting.
Okay.
I was like, I'm good. But the quilting is very intricate and very time consuming.
Yeah,
and to do the little triangles and this, and I think it's ugly as so I came up with a creative way to make it really fun and a little bit faster. I do like big colorful blocks and like in between each square, I'll add like an extra like half an inch to like, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of an inch of like lines.
Yeah.
Like loud colors lines. And then the big squares, I'll like I'll applique on something. Like I did a martini glass quilt, a Playboy bunny quilt.
How cute.
Yeah. An Italian flag quilt. And they're really fun.
And so that was going to be my next question. And you can speak to this as much or as little as you like, but would you like to share a little bit as far as what your journey, to sobriety, what that was like?
Sure. So my journey to sobriety was debauchery. I literally had to slowly burn my life to the ground for about 5 to 8 years.
Yeah.
And, man, I don't know how I got sober. I just thought I was going to die. And I was okay with that. I welcomed the idea to die, but I wasn't willing to kill myself. I was a Beverly Hills hairdresser. And just little by little, I don't know. I just slowly started to lose my sanity. And then there came a point where I knew I was insane, but then I thought I wasn't insane because I knew I was insane. And that's what's interesting about alcoholism is that it's like, we're sick and we're kind of aware something's wrong, but until you understand what this disease really is, it's baffling. Yeah. It's just completely baffling.
Yeah. Because you don't know what's going on when you're in it.
But like something's up.
Well, something's wrong.
Yeah.
But you don't, but at least for me, it was like, something's wrong, but what? And to other people, it was really obvious. But it's like, I was the last one to know. Like I thought, okay, I'm maybe I'm like undiagnosed, like clinical depression. Right? Like I have some kind of like severe, undiagnosed, co-occurring mental health condition. Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm totally ignoring the fact that like I quite obviously have a problem with drinking, but that was like, I didn't figure that out until later. I had to go to therapy first and then have her very gently for 6 months listen to me talk about everything but the problems I was having with alcohol before she was like, what would you think about maybe just not drinking? And I was stunned. I was shocked by that she was saying that to me, which sounds so funny now, right? I've been sober for 11 years, but at the time that was like groundbreaking news.
Breaking news. Perhaps there is, if you try it. Are you insane to think my drinking is causing problems?
I mean, so when you were, out there before you got sober, did you have people in your life at that time that were kind of like a mirror for you that were like, Victoria, I love you, but like, come on. Like, did you have people like that?
Not really. Towards the end.
Okay, me neither. Yeah. I only had one person who ever actually like called me on it. Okay, so you had that too.
I had that too. I had one person in my life that said to me, I love you, but I can't have you in my life this way.
Wow.
And that was powerful for me.
Oh, wow.
That was very powerful.
Because that's like saying a lot, but it's just enough.
Right.
It's not too much. Cause like more than that, I probably would have been like, well, in my case, she said a lot more than that. Right. And so I was just like, I didn't even hear it. I just shut down at that point. Like she was like I was, regaling her with, some funny story, which like the story is not funny. Okay. Like to normal people, if I tell this story, they're like disturbed.
What
right?
does that say it? Cough it up.
So this is what my drinking looked like. I had a crush on a guy who worked the door at like my favorite rock and roll dive bar in San Francisco. And I thought in my, drunkenness, right? Like, oh, like he likes me too. He didn't like me. He was trapped there. Okay. He was a paid employee. He couldn't leave. And his job basically was to deal with girls like me, probably like all night. Okay. But I was cute. Let's not, not dragging myself. Anyways. So in my mind, he had invited me to this this event, this concert, the show that was happening at the bar. He probably didn't really specifically invite me. He was probably literally just like, here's a pile of flyers. Right?
Yeah. This is a public place. I love when people think they need to be invited to a public place,
But in my delusional, sad little mind, I was like, oh, this is like a special invite, which it wasn't. Okay. So I show up at this, whatever, DJ night or whatever thing that it was. I don't even remember what it was. And I remember that he was like on a break or something and he was standing at the bar and I walked over to the bar and I like saddled up like next to him. Right. And he got this close to my face and he was like, okay, I don't like you like that. Oh, devastating, gut wrenching. I got all dressed up, right? I was wearing this like skin tight, like black dress that like barely covered my stuff. Okay. It was really short. And I had like a little like scarf as like a decorative element. I in my mind, I was looking real good. Okay. Rejected at point blank range, right there. And so I ordered like a pitcher of a cocktail. And of course I had already pre-gamed at my apartment before that. So I was already drunk when I got there.
You have to be.
Right. This is the life that we live. Okay.
The life of the alcoholic. And then people don't want to you anymore. And when people stop wanting to you, you're like, wait, I can't even call someone to I can't even do a booty call if I wanted to. Because nobody is interested anymore.
It's a new low.
Yeah, it's a new low.
So, especially when you're like 25 years old, okay? And you're not like bad looking. That says something about the drinking, the level of the drinking. Yes. So I ordered a pitcher of like something equivalent to like a Long Island iced tea, right? Basically just straight liquor, okay? With a little bit of mixer in there. And I drank like a pint. I pounded like a pint glass full of that.
We don't
concoction.
drink classy. It's not classy.
There's nothing. It's horrible to watch. Okay. It's not pretty. And I just downed it. Right. And whatever. I finished the pitcher in like, 2, 3, 4 of those. Okay. So I'm gone. Right. Okay. So I stumble out of the bar and I'm walking home to my apartment and I broke a heel because of course, right. That was like my signature, move. And I stumbled into a taqueria as one does.
Beautiful.
And I got a quesadilla suiza, my favorite. Okay. With the salsa. Okay. So I'm staggering home, with my quesadilla and my salsa open. And I had like a little coat on over my dress that I already mentioned was probably inappropriately too short. Okay.
Well, was it a scarf or a dress? I'm still confused. We're not, there's a discrepancy in this.
It was an American Apparel dress, like, skin tight black cotton dress. And then I'd fashioned myself a little like, it wasn't an apron. It was an accent piece. Some kind of a waist adornment that was a scarf. I had tied a scarf around my waist. Okay. All right. So
couldn't be bothered to find a skirt.
I mean, I felt like I was really fashion forward in that moment. It's hard to say, but, anyways, and so I'm walking home, stumbling home, right? And like basically in a blackout. Okay. I vaguely remember this. It's like, a brownout. I was in and out. Anyways. Okay. Too much to drink always. And there was this really sweet gentleman that lived on the street on my block that was like my guardian angel.
Ooh, we love those.
And he said, like he always said when he would see me walk home like this, he'd always say, "Get home safe, mama." Right. So I saw him. He said that. I'm like, okay, everything's fine. I get upstairs and then I realize that in my walk from the taqueria, we hope it wasn't from the bar. We hope that this was post taqueria. Okay. My dress had gone up to here. And so my ass was out.
The whole time.
With a
It could have been while you were going up the stairs.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm afraid it was. It was. Yeah. Beautiful. So I, passed out in my bed like that. Did I wash my face? No.
Of course not.
Okay. With the one shoe, both shoes broken, one broken heel. Yeah. Okay. With my quesadilla suiza and my salsa, which in the middle of the night or the next morning, it was there for me, in my bed. Yeah, room temp. I mean, it's fine. Yeah. Okay. And so I had told my friend who was like, she was like a big sister to me. And we did a lot of drinking, but like, she could like pull it off though. She was like, she didn't have nights like that. She would be like in her house drinking, we call them Dr. Feelgoods, like Dr. Pepper and vanilla vodka. Like, yeah, I know. Drink a lot of those, just saying, with her like cute stoner boyfriend and like all the like musicians and artists would come and hang out at her house and she would go out, but like she didn't have these nights like I had like that. So I'm telling her this story, right? At the time, I thought it was really funny, or maybe I just wasn't ready to deal with how not funny it was. And so I used humor as a way to,
listen to my drunken story. Isn't it cute?
Yeah. I don't have a problem. Right. I'm so funny. Right. Okay. Like now I don't find that story funny, just to be totally clear. But there's other people who've had those stories. So I'm going to share it because, it is what it is. But at the time I was like, and I'm like so funny. Right. And she was the one person in my life who she told me, she was like, "I don't think that story's funny. I'm genuinely worried for you. I'm glad that nothing horrible happened to you in that state. And considering like the neighborhood where you were and just there's so many different things that could have happened. And I'm really grateful that didn't happen to you. But I don't want to hear these stories anymore. I don't think it's funny. It's not funny. I think it's sad." Yeah. And like, you need to like do something, like dial it back, like mellow out, like the way it is, like this isn't good. And I was like, coming from
gas. Excuse me. My drunkalogs aren't entertaining you anymore.
Like you're genuinely concerned. Like I was embarrassed, and I couldn't take it in at that time. At that time, I just like blocked it out. And I was just like, whatever, that's her concern. I just won't tell her about,
the secret start.
Right. And so that was kind of the beginning of, we grew apart after that. And it really wasn't until, so that was really in the worst of my drinking. So that was like 2011, probably 2010, 2011. It's a blur. I got sober in 2013. And the year before I got sober, I was trying to control it. So it was definitely before 2012. But anyways, it wasn't until I actually got sober, and it was 2013, 2014, that I remembered what she said to me and us having that conversation. And now I think about it and I'm like, she had a lot of balls to confront me. And she really loved me a lot to be that honest and not be concerned with how I was going to react. Cause I was crazy.
Yeah. We're off. I feel like when we're drinking and using, like, especially right before we get sober, we're so fucking unhinged.
Yes.
And we don't it's a rage out. It's not even like we fucking rage out. Yeah. Lash out, rage out.
That happens too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? It's funny. Even as you are saying that, in my mind, my first thought was, "Oh, I never did that." And then a couple seconds go by and I'm like, yeah, you did. And I can remember the last relationship I was in before I got sober, just screaming at this guy at the top of my lungs, throwing like that is not how I am.
No.
Today anymore. I have not behaved like that once in the last 11 years since I've been sober towards another human being ever. But that was normal when I was drinking.
We don't know how to handle our emotions.
No.
Yeah.
He had to go to the hospital. Literally.
Oh
he had an anxiety disorder because, you know, I'm into that.
Did you throw him into an anxiety attack?
He was having heart palpitations.
Oh my gosh.
That's how scary it was.
Yeah.
You know?
I believe it.
Yeah. And like in the work that I'm doing now, like I'm studying like on the side, because I'm always doing a lot of different things. I'm working on getting my certified alcohol drug counselor certification. And one of the classes that I'm taking right now through UCLA Extension is family counseling skills. And we're talking, we have talked a lot about domestic violence. And like, it's so scary how highly relatable these scenarios are, right? So anyways, yeah, it gets real, it gets real worse, it gets bad, and then things get better, right? Yeah. And that's kind of the life cycle of this thing. Okay, so you've been sober for how long?
April 15th will be 6 years.
Girl.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we've already had this conversation. Your sobriety date is the day after mine.
Yes.
Which is so cool.
Yes.
So we are Aries in our recovery.
I'm a double Aries. Watch out. My actual birthday is March 25th and my sober birthday is April 15th.
We have to do your Vedic. I'm sure I've done it for you.
I need to find out when I'm born. I don't know what time.
The time on your birth certificate.
And neither do my parents.
They don't have your birth certificate, but you know, you can get it. If you know the hospital where you were born, you can get it. I had to order mine again when I had to renew my passport.
Right. I did. I got my passport. I got my thing for my passport. And then I took it to the passport place and they never fucking mailed it back.
Wait, what?
Because they have to take your passport and mail it back to you.
Oh, when you renew.
Yeah. Because I had lost my passport because I lost everything.
Right.
My social security card, my passport, my car. I gave it to like my fucking drug dealer's friend. You know, like it's just the shit that we do is truly remarkable.
At the end, it's real crazy.
It's real crazy.
For a lot of people.
Yeah.
Everyone's story is a little bit different, of course.
It is.
You know?
We all have our prices to pay.
Yeah.
If you got a DUI, you're one of the fucking lucky ones. Okay. That's only 20 grand and you figured it out. All right. I don't want to hear you cry.
I never got a DUI and that's like criminal.
Right.
Because I drove drunk all the time. And it could not be helped. That was one of the things, like the last year before I ended up getting sober, where I was trying to control it. I was like, okay, this is my thing. This is my issue. If I can just figure out how to do this so that I don't end up behind the wheel of a car under the influence, everything will be fine. But I could not for the life of me make that happen. And it took a year of trying to do that, which was so demoralizing, right? Like, okay, I'm only going to have 2 drinks, which 9 times out of 10 can't do that, right? Okay, I'm not going to end up behind the wheel of a car. I'm going to leave my car keys at home. I'd end up driving someone else's car.
Oh, no. See, that's the thing with that I feel my story is different in that way is I really rarely drink and drive. It was very rare that I would drink and drive. I always Ubered. Like, I don't know why I did that.
I think that's because I got sober kind of pre-Uber.
Oh, yes.
That's really what it was.
There was even a nightclub in Chicago that I would go to. And they would make it somebody's job to fucking drive my car home and then drive me home.
Oh, you were blessed.
Close.
Oh, you were
so
very
I wouldn't
blessed.
drink. I would close at 4 a.m. They fucking loved me.
Yeah, they were looking out for you.
And I could like brag about it. Like, that's so cool. One of the the owner had the bouncer drive me and then drive my car. Do you know how fucking pathetic that sounds?
I mean, they were not. What it is they were fearing for your life.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sure that's not a service that they just offered to random people. No, they were concerned. They were legitimately concerned about you.
But that was before I moved to LA. So that means I had a problem a lot longer than I thought I did.
Right.
You know?
Right. Well, it's a progression.
It is very progressive.
And like how it progresses and like what people's life consequences are, what they have to experience, what they have to lose are all different. Right. Like at the end for me, and part of what made it like crazy, even kind of more crazy making in a certain way was I still had a good job. I still had a nice place to live. I still had a car. I had never had a DUI, you know? And so like the outside life stuff still looked okay. But on the inside, I wanted to kill myself. And I was so unhappy. Yeah. And what I felt like was like the cracks in the veneer were like starting to show. And I was living on borrowed time as far as how long I was going to be able to continue to live the way I was living and get away with it without starting to have real life consequences.
Club Soda, the only real dating app for people who don't drink and everyone that wants to date us. Available for download now in the App Store, Club Soda is exclusively invite only in Los Angeles. Club Soda is different from other dating apps because video and audio are required. No more getting catfished. You can request to be invited in the app and start matching with other sober, sober curious, and sober friendly hotties today.
And we're back. Okay,
Hi.
So I told way more than I thought I was going to tell about what it was like, but everything that comes through is meant to come through. So I'm just going to honor that and be cool with it.
Yes.
Okay, so let's dive into sober dating, if you're okay with that, because I am feeling very bitter, jaded, burnt out. I'm on one right now, quite frankly. Like this week, I'm just like, I'm taking a step back from the dating apps because like when a guy reaches out to me to ask me out on a date and I reply like a total and complete bitch, I know that it's time for me to take a break.
Yes.
Because what happens for me on the dating app front, and which is why I created my own app, is like I get so tired of these basic, I'm just going to go off, basic ass looky-loo dudes, okay, that like, they're not sober, conscious, sober, aware, okay? I already know that because they're like asking me out for like a drink and like whatever, but just right out the gate, like I'm not enthused about this. And like all the like, oh yeah, like let's go out, blah, 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 but nothing ever happens.
Right.
Sometimes it does, but most of the time it doesn't.
You've gone on a few dates.
I have gone on a few dates.
I've never been on a date from a dating app. I have yet to actually even get a coffee with anybody from a dating app.
Take that as a compliment.
Yeah. I mean, I actually was on a dating app the other night, like going crazy. I was like, swipe. And I like, I don't even really know which way to swipe. I had to Google like, which way is like, if you like someone, you know?
I love it. She's all to the left.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, I think, and then it's like you missed one, and then I'm like confused.
Was this Bumble, Hinge?
Bumble, right?
Yeah.
Like, can I just have? I'm kind of dyslexic with my left and right.
Right.
Can I just have a fucking check mark or something? Like, I just want to like know that I liked them because I get confused.
I think Tinder has that, like
really?
green and red. They make it real easy. Okay, so you're new to dating apps in 2025 is what I'm hearing.
Yes, I am very new.
Okay. So you've been sober for a minute, 5+ years.
Yes.
Okay. So and I know you a little bit, but like, I'm assuming that the majority of the guys that you have dated in sobriety, mutual friends through your work, because you're also a sober bartender.
I am a sober bartender.
Yes, she is.
Yes.
Yes. And her drink, the high fashion. That's the drink.
Yes.
Everybody.
And the pink pony margarita.
Okay.
And I've never tasted them.
No, she has not. No. Yeah, exactly.
But I'm an alcoholic, so I know what tastes good. You know?
She does. She knows how to cook. Okay. So then most of the guys that you've gone on dates with, you've met IRL in the wild.
Well, I've never gone on a date from an app.
Okay.
But there is possibly one coming for coffee, maybe. I don't know.
From an app?
Yeah.
Oh.
But I get really like bored with them. Like, and then I get confused and it's hard to keep.
You get bored with the app.
With the app. Well, with the messages back and forth.
That's like a part-time job.
And fucking
it's like a part-time
guys
job.
are like one guy was like, I see that you're sober, but like, I'm going to have a glass of wine. Okay. Like that shouldn't be like the first thing you say.
Yeah.
And also like
hot.
I like most sober people don't care if you drink.
No,
we just don't. You know?
No, but you can always tell, and like no judgment, okay? But you can always tell the guys that probably have a problem because they're the ones that make a big thing out of it. Like in my experience, normal drinker guys, they really don't care.
Right.
They're like, oh, you're not going to drink? Like, I'm fine. I'll have like a soda or whatever. I mean, okay. But the guys where it's like a thing where they're like, oh,
what
my
do
God.
I do with you if you don't drink?
Because they don't know what to do.
Yes.
And I can relate based on what it was like. You know, like before I got sober, I would not have gone out with anybody who
didn't drink.
Absolutely
or what didn't want
not.
to do Molly with me or fucking.
What's the point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do Molly, get cracked out all night. Yes. Make sure you have Viagra.
Exactly. So, okay. All right. So with the sober dating experiences that you have had.
Yes.
Okay. Because like I'm thinking of someone who's watching this who maybe is newly sober or like maybe is curious about sobriety, but maybe they're not. Okay. And dating, I know, can be like a very scary thing for a lot of sober people or newly sober people, because like we're used to, just like what we were laughing about, we're used to our dating lives really revolving around the alcohol and drugs.
Yes.
So
and feeling good.
Exactly. So let's maybe like go back in time to like early days when you were newly sober and then you were starting to date. What was that like for you?
So early days, I was kind of seeing somebody that was special to me for a long time. And it was. So
you already knew each other?
We already knew each other.
Okay.
He actually helped me get sober. Like was on the phone with the rehab.
Wow.
He's the one that told me like, I can't have you in my life this way, but I love you.
Okay. That was the guy.
And
wow.
So very pivotal person in my life. But the thing is like, as we get sober, we start to learn our value. You know, like we learn what we're worth. We gain more confidence and we know what we're not going to really deal with, you know, and if somebody doesn't want to show up for you, you know, it's going to fade away. Right. Like I want somebody who shows up for me. I want somebody who wants to make me smile, you know? And also when you're with somebody who was with you through like your darkest hour, you're always going to have a bond, but then it's also like, why would you be attracted to me? You know, like what kept you around? So, and also it's kind of hard to get out of that narrative of like, remember what you used to be like, you know?
Right.
Like,
yeah, because they knew you.
Then.
So
the growth that we get is kind of hard for, like, they're happy for us, but it's hard for them to also accept it, you know, because there's probably a lot of resentment and bitterness.
Yeah. Because they went through a lot. Of with
right.
You. Yeah. Okay.
So
so that's, well, to me, it's unique because that's not my story. There's probably actually a lot of people watching this where maybe there was a relationship that they were already in that they kind of, you know, continued to be in early sobriety. Okay. So that you're single, right? Okay. So you were together for a period of time in your early sobriety. Okay. And then like you were kind of saying you were like,
I started to get,
outgrew it.
I outgrew it. Yeah. And also I was a little bit bitter because I'm living in South Central in a sober living, okay, for 2 years. And this fool has 2 houses. And I'm like, okay, listen, like I love you, but it made me feel unloved. Yeah. You know, that's what it made me feel like. And
you didn't feel cared for.
I didn't feel cared for. And then I didn't feel worthy. Yeah. And it started to like eat away at me a little bit.
But and when you were drinking, that was probably okay.
That was
right?
okay.
And then you got sober and you were like, this doesn't feel
make
right.
sense. Yeah. It didn't make sense. And, but I also had to do a lot of work on that and like realize that I can't put my worth on what somebody else is gonna do for me. You know, like if it's not really up to him that I feel comfortable, but it's up to me if I wanna continue to be intimate with somebody who can pretty much give 2 shits that I'm living in South Central while you have 2 beautiful houses, you know?
So there was a disconnect.
There's a disconnect. Yeah. Right. And probably I'm not doing anybody's inventory, but we're still on great terms. Like we're
you're still friends.
Terms. Yes. We're going to Coachella together this year. So
that's nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
Okay.
But then following that, I dated a couple of people in sobriety. I think I've dated a total, like, I think I called 2 people my boyfriend in 6 years.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah. 2 people were my boyfriend and like I've dated a couple other ones. The first guy, I he was so hot. Okay. So hot. And like sober the same amount of time. His sober birthday was my actual birthday.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, your belly button birthday.
My belly button birthday was his sober birthday. And we were
fun.
the same exact age, sober the almost same exact time. But the problem with it was he wasn't grateful for sobriety. He was resentful towards it.
He wished that he could still drink.
Yeah. Well, he wished he didn't have to do the things he had to do to stay sober. And that was really like a turnoff for me.
It's a turnoff. Because for me, I'm wondering, how long is this really going to last?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because if you're already mad that you have to do this stuff to stay sober, like whatever, go to therapy, take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
How long is it going to be before you just slide back into your old habits and you relapse?
Right. So, and I don't know where that fool is now, to be honest with you.
Yikes.
Yeah, I haven't heard from him, haven't seen him. But yeah, I want somebody who's excited about like sobriety and life and wants to give back. And like, I want like my dream date is to like go out to dinner, maybe first or after, like, okay, first have sex before anything. Like I'm an afternooner. Like don't f me at night and don't f me in the morning. I'm not into it. I don't like having tired sex, and I don't like having just woken up morning breath. Like
Victoria is a woman who knows what she wants.
Like noon to 5.
Specifically.
Noon to 5. Like don't f with me after that. So anyways, I would love to do that.
Noted.
Okay. Yeah.
Check. Okay.
So that, and then like go out to dinner, go dancing, like I want somebody who's involved in like my life, like have your own meetings, help out people, but like do like one meeting a week together or something. Just like the flow of life. So dating somebody who's like, I want to go see a movie or like, I want to, or like just
doesn't want to participate in the recovery.
Doesn't want to participate. Yeah. So I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I decided. And then I dated another guy that was kind of sober. Well, he was sober in his own way.
Oh.
But
sobriety is self-defined.
Yeah. Yes. He did it through God. But just like after a year, we didn't grow together. We kind of grew apart.
Yeah.
And
well, when you're really involved in the recovery community and it's a big part of your life socially, like on all levels, it makes sense. It's nice when you get to share that with someone. Like
right.
So I'm training to do the LA Marathon on a whim. But I'm grateful that I am actually in such good shape that last week when I walked Victoria was the first person I called. And when I told her that I walked 15 miles, this is Victoria's exact response. Ew. Like when we were in France, if there was an escalator and stairs, I'm always taking the stairs. Victoria, she's going to take the long way around in that metro station for the escalator. Period.
Yes.
Okay. And Victoria, you're in great shape too. And you do a lot of things to take care of yourself. So we're all different, but I do like going on long walks. But I was not sure how I was going to fare on a 15-mile fucking walk. Like we started at, Sunset and Alvarado, kind of like Silver Lake area. And then we walked back to Beverly Hills, which I believe we did like the exact like route of what it's going to be like on the day of the marathon in a couple of weeks. But anyways, why I'm talking about this is like when we're like a part of the recovery community and like wanting to date like within that community, maybe I go back and forth on this, but I had this positive experience, which is why I'm talking about this. So there's a girl that I know who was wearing a Strides in Recovery t-shirt. And I was like, what is that? And she's like, oh, we're like a walking group, people in recovery who are curious about recovery. And like, we raise money to like, promote, what the good cause, right? Okay. And she said that they were training to do the LA Marathon. And I was like, oh, I'll do it for that. Like, I want to help them, like raise some money for this like Strides in Recovery group because I'm really into walking. And I just thought that was so cool. Okay. So I go and it was like, there was some crossover between the Strides in Recovery group and a treatment center. Some folks from a treatment center that are participating and they're doing the LA Marathon. And like, these are people that are in very early sobriety and they're like way more hardcore than me. They're running the full marathon, like 26 miles.
Of course. They're like little vampires.
They're there at like 6 a.m. And they got dropped off at Dodger Stadium and they ran 26 miles that day. Okay, that's crazy. I told the girl who told me about Strides in Recovery, I was like, oh, I'll do it, but I will do the half marathon and I'm walking it, period. You know, she's like, that's fine. There's no problem with that. Okay, so I go on Sunday, I do this. Okay, I have no idea what to expect. The girl who I found out about it from, she wasn't even there, which that's okay. She decided to sleep in that day. But I ended up walking with this guy who will remain unnamed at the time because he is still in treatment. And so we're just going to leave that where it is. But we had a really nice walk together for like 4 hours. He was recovering from an injury. So he was like, I'm not running. Okay. But like, we're kind of around the same age. And we just talked and walked for like 4 hours, you know?
It's so nice.
It's just nice when you can enjoy someone else's company. It doesn't feel forced at all. And you have so much in common, right? Because like, you know what it was like, you're sober now, and like, you're both like engaged and like participating like in your recovery community. That's hot, you know? And so like, no expectations. I will be returning this Sunday, you know, to the group, and maybe
find her walking partner. She's going to find her walking partner.
Maybe we'll walk again. But to your point about how you would like prefer, and you've discovered through having different dating experiences in sobriety, that you would rather for yourself personally date someone who was like really into the
interested in being in it. Now I have a new rule. I'm not fucking with you until you've done your fourth step. Like there is no fucking way.
So for people that are sober adjacent, what Victoria is talking about is a written inventory where you get really honest about your resentments, your fears, and the things that are blocking you from living the kind of life that you really want to live. Yeah. And so like for most people, when they look at themselves on that level, it changes you. It changes you. Yeah, it changes you. You're not the same person. Like I mistakenly, shamefully, privately met up with an ex last week, which is probably why I've been so just on a tear this week. Okay. And nothing happened. Okay. We just like went to a hookah bar. Whatever. You know who you are. Anyways.
Dick.
But in like, it's not his fault because it can't be helped. He's just like a normal guy. He's not in recovery. He doesn't have a history of addiction.
Does he have a therapist?
No, he just has a history of trying to destroy my life for the last 7 to 8 years. You need to have a therapist or have
done a fourth step.
And so we had a really frank conversation for like a minute before he couldn't handle it. And then it was over. Of like, because, okay, when you participate in recovery, if you've done therapy, okay, you get really clear on how your actions affect other people. And you learn that, right? Because I think we're kind of in America, unfortunately, just regular mainstream culture. We all sort of just pretend like our actions don't affect other people, which is bullshit. That's
and if it does, it's their problem.
Exactly. And so when you kind of wake up to that and you're like, oh shit, my actions do affect other people. There's a lot of people that I've like legit, genuinely really hurt, you know, and you get clarity on that. And then you actually like get it together to talk to that person, and you have a conversation where you give them an opportunity to tell you how your actions hurt them. And it's very healing. And I've had the opportunity to do that with several people in my life in the last 11 years, which is a gift. Okay. But on the other side, when you have been hurt by someone and they are not, they don't have that type of emotional literacy, okay? Because they don't have access to that. And like all he could say to me was, well, I can't take it back. Ha! What? No shit, Sherlock. I know. I know you can't take it back. What about genuine remorse? What about empathy? What about compassion? Oh, I could see how what I did really hurt you.
Sounds like a box of rocks.
Yeah. Yes. Literally, like talking to cereal.
You know, that's a pattern for you, by the way.
Victoria knows me a little too well. Do I find guys that are emotionally unavailable? The answer to that is yes. But you know what? We improve, we iterate, we live another day, and there's always hope for tomorrow. But it was very chilling you know?
Mhm.
Because he was just like, well, I can't take it back.
Yeah. Like, is that all there is? And then it's like, whoa, that really is all there fucking is.
That's all there is.
It's
And
kinda
not
wild.
even like, what can I do to make it right?
Mhm.
Like, okay, I can't take it back. Yeah, no shit, you can't take it back. But what can I do differently to make it right? Because I care about you.
Mhm.
I don't want to continue to cause you pain. I want you to be in my life on some level, to some capacity.
Is
What
this
can
from
I do?
him to you or you to him?
This is my fantasy of him to me, which is not going to happen because
No.
he doesn't have those tools. And
Right.
so like we get really spoiled in a good way being sober, you know, and in participating and engaging in our recovery where like your standards change.
Yes.
And you need a little bit more. Like
Mhm.
that's not gonna work.
It's not
And
good
so
enough
like
anymore.
even though like I've been in a funk because of just like I got like slimed just from like being in his presence and having that
Mhm.
interaction. I'm not like pining, right? Because I don't want that.
Mhm.
They're like he can't give me anything.
Yeah.
You
Nothing
know?
to offer.
And like my heart goes out to him.
Not even a fucking, not only is there nothing he has to offer, he also can't even like say anything besides I can't take it back.
Nothing.
You know what I mean? When you like, that's, I don't know. Like one of my friends I was talking to, she's like dating this guy or
Yeah.
trying to date this guy.
Yeah.
She's like, well,
Emphasis on trying.
We're gonna she's just trying to get him to commit to hanging out. And
That's horrible.
He keeps like, I don't know, texting. And I'm like, what the fuck does this fool have to offer you besides
Right.
how was your day? How
Right.
was your fucking day? Isn't enough. It's not
No.
going to cut it. I'll
No.
have that conversation fucking once. Don't ask me how my day is. Show up.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
I mean, unless you live in China, and even then, I'm not doing that either. I'm not doing long distance.
I don't mind long distance.
Oh,
Yeah, come in for like a couple days and then like leave.
that's okay. I could
let's
see
do
that
like-
appealing to you.
Do like a week.
Yeah,
You know, like, I don't know.
You're about the efficiency. If you could condense the romantic interaction, and you knew when, okay, it's this day to this
Every
day.
other weekend.
Okay, you'd be yeah. I could see that working for you,
Yeah.
and you'd be totally cool with it. Yeah. I feel like I'm the type of person where, like, from the jump, I'm very hesitant, like arm's length. Like,
Mhm.
I don't want to feel like suffocated or crowded, or like you want too much from me, like in the very beginning, which is why like the love bombing and stuff can be so scary. And I feel like I'm going to die. Okay.
Mhm.
But then once I get to know you and I warm up to you, you cannot fucking get rid of me.
Mm.
And I want to like, have the closeness and like spend a lot of time together. But I'm not like that right away.
Mhm.
And I feel like in that sense, like, especially in the dating app culture, which hopefully Club Soda is a different experience for people, once we, have like a user base on the app, because at least we can share that we're like sober friendly, sober curious,
And that's so much easier also, like
'cause you already know you have that in
news.
common.
You have to like break the news to people like, hey, I'm sober. And then like,
It's
what
like
does that
coming
mean? Yeah.
yeah, it is.
Because it's a lifestyle that not everybody's down with.
I just had an interaction, one of the last ones I had before I deleted all of my dating apps for a minute, where this guy was like, oh, like, do you want to go out for a drink? And now I don't care. I'm just really straight and to the point. And I was like, I don't drink alcohol. That's my response. I literally just say, I don't drink alcohol. And he was like, oh, not even a glass of wine? And I'm like, oh, this shit again? Like, I'm
Idiots.
not. Okay.
Fucking dumbass.
Yeah, no, not even a glass of wine. And it's like, sometimes I'll entertain those conversations. A lot of times I just unmatch or I just stop responding. But he was like, well, what do you have when you go out? Like, it was this weird thing. And I was like, literally
What do
anything
you
but
do?
booze. Like, literally anything.
Anything you mix alcohol with, I can drink. I just can't drink the alcohol. It's like people coming to my bar and saying, do you have anything non-alcoholic? And I'm like, what do you think we fucking mix the alcohol with?
Lots of options.
You know?
Yeah. Coffee, tea, soda water, soda.
Yeah.
A variety
Sprite,
of juices.
Coke, Diet Coke, orange juice.
Hello.
Yeah.
I mean, matcha.
Matcha, we don't.
There's a lot of things that I can ingest
Mhm.
besides alcohol, sir.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then he tried to invite me to meet him at a bar,
Yeah.
which if that interaction had gone differently, because I have gone to bars on dates.
Yeah.
I have done that.
I made somebody take me on a first date to the fucking Abbey for dinner.
That's cute. But you love the
I love the Abbey.
Okay, Victoria is like the queen of the Abbey.
You're gonna fucking drink. I'm gonna dance. Bitch.
Yeah. That's yeah, exactly. Yeah, Victoria loves to dance. She's a great dancer, especially in the daytime. But I've gone on dates to bars with guys where they were already cool about the fact that I don't drink. And they're like, oh, that's fine. You know, like this bar has like really like cute mocktails and stuff. Then I'm like, okay, I feel seen and safe. And yeah, so I'll go. Right. But I forget what we were talking about before this, but how
many drinks did they have?
The guy who tried to have me meet him at a brewery or whatever, who was like, what are you going to drink if you don't drink alcohol? I didn't go.
Okay.
Yeah. Cause I was just like already so annoyed, so annoyed. I had another thing happen this week, because I've just been in a weird mood this week, where this guy who I have not met in person, we met on a dating app, like over the holidays, before the fires, like a lot of stuff. He called me, we FaceTimed once. It's been just like a lot of like texting, which I hate.
So annoying.
Thank you. I
fucking call me for 2 minutes.
It's just the worst.
Yeah.
Okay. And like, whatever. I didn't hear from him for a while, which who cares? I'm not losing sleep over this. Like, whatever. He's just some random guy from a dating app. And then he hits me up again, like a few days ago, like kind of like aggressively, like, hey, how are you? Like, how did you sleep? Da-da-da-da. And I was like, I'm fine. And he was like, well, you don't seem fine over text. And I was like,
cracked out.
Yeah, exactly. And he was like, you used to like, I think he was on drugs or hallucinating or something. He's like, you used to talk to me like all happy and call me. And I'm like, I've never called you. I know what you're talking about, me being happy. We don't know each other at all. And I told him, I was like, I don't know you at all. I'm hanging on by a fucking thread today. And I'm doing the best I can. Right. And he was like, oh, well, I'm trying to get to know you. And I was like, how about you just take me out on a fucking date?
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there. Enough with the texting.
Yeah, what's up with these guys these days thinking texting is like dating someone?
It's the worst.
It's so
Get an
bizarre
AI girlfriend. And I think I'm going to start sending that link to people.
Yeah, yes.
Because she'll gas you up.
Good. That is good.
I'm not getting paid for this. I'm sorry. No. Like, I'm not benefiting from this interaction in any way. I'm not just going to be, you know,
are
with
people
you.
aware how much longer it takes to actually text somebody than it is to just do a fucking 2 5-minute phone call?
I know. Because I think that's all they want. Right?
Oh, okay.
So after I was like, why don't you just take me out and we can go from there? Right? And he was like, well, that's the plan. Do you think I've heard another word after that? No.
Negative.
Yeah. And so now, like, if he reaches out again, which he probably will because he's fucking annoying.
Yeah, guys always reach back out. And they're never fucking done either.
I'm just not going to respond.
Weird.
I'm just not going to respond.
Wait, how about all these young guys? Oh my gosh.
Oh, the young ones
I
that
feel
love
like
you?
as I get older, it's always a 25 to 27-year-old that wants this.
The MILF market
What is going on?
There's a lot of guys who are into that.
Yeah.
I have the same experience, and not because I'm into it, not because it's something that I'm seeking. Ideally, I would like to date someone, be in a relationship, get married to a guy that's like close to my age. Ideally, I would prefer for them not to be a lot older than me or a lot younger.
Yes.
But do you think I get a lot of guys around my age or even older that approach me? No.
It's all the young ones.
They're 5 to 10 years younger.
Isn't that
and
wild?
They're the ones that just like, they're in line. And I would say that I don't get it, but I have a really dark, pessimistic view that I don't know if I want to share on this channel about why that might be. And I don't, and I could be off base, but I don't know. I think that there are some guys who legitimately are just attracted to women who know themselves a little bit more. Okay. And I could see that. And also like, you're hot, you know.
No one would ever know how old I was.
But I don't know. Sometimes when I get into negative thinking, which I could be totally off base on this, and if I am, great. I think that these young guys think that they can just kind of like mess around with you for a while, right? And then when they're over it,
oh, like no strings attached.
yeah, they're just move on to someone who is closer to them in age for like the real thing. Now, that's not always the case. And there are legitimate relationships, long-term relationships and
True.
marriages where guys are younger than women. And I feel like maybe now more than ever, but and maybe it's my own doubt, fear, and insecurity, but I struggle with that where I do kind of go to that dark place sometimes where I'm like, why are you here? Why are you so intent on making this happen? Like what is your motive? And maybe they don't even know. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. I can't keep up. I can't believe. I'm like, wait, what? They're fucking like, I forgot, man. Yeah.
Chomping at the bit.
Yeah.
Okay. So everyone wants to know, Victoria.
Yes.
Are you on Club Soda?
I am on Club Soda.
Yay! Well, we will show Victoria's profile with her permission. It's really cute. And I want to thank you so much for coming in today and being such an amazing guest on the pod. We love you.
Love you.
And thank you for tuning in to Club Soda podcast. We'll be back next week. And until then, see you on the app.
See you there.